كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. وَلْتَكُن مِّنكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. أولئك هم المفلحون. ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تحرموا طيبات ما أحل الله لكم ولا تعتدوا. إن الله لا يحب المعتدين. وكلوا مما رزقكم الله حلالا طيبا. وكلوا مما رزقكم الله حلالا طيبا. واتقوا الله الذي أنتم به مؤمنون. صدق الله العظيم. الفاتحة.
Honorable Ministers, esteemed guests, now I would like to invite Kazakhstan Deputy Minister Mr. Jenis Oserbay for the opening session speech as the chairman of the 7th OIC Ministerial Conference. His Excellency.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your Excellencies, dear colleagues, heads of delegation, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture of Republic of Kazakhstan, and on my behalf, I welcome you to the 8th OAC Ministerial Conference on Food Security and Agricultural Development. We are meeting in unprecedented times. Just now, countries are coming back from the shutdowns. So I would like to express my gratitude to the President and the government of Republic of Turkey. In these hard times, they are hosting and welcoming us. I would like to express my gratitude to the OIC Secretariat and the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry of Turkey for the organization of our meeting on the exceptional level. 2 years ago, nobody would assume that the face-to-face meetings are something outstanding. And nowadays, I would like to thank all participants. The 8th OAC Ministerial Conference is taking place during the difficult period for the entire Muslim Ummah. Numerous countries are experiencing high food price inflation, currency devaluations. The ongoing pandemic is a period of global changes in the world and the agricultural sector as well. The lessons of the COVID-19 have clearly shown to the same weak points that should be strengthened. Move the trade barriers, mutual recognition of the safety certificates in the field of veterinary and the phytosanitary, the creation of green corridors for the promotion of the products between the country. One of the main goals should be to orient the markets of our countries to the products produced by the OIC countries, to establish the infrastructure for the supply and distribution of the food. The issue of the water shortage should be in the high priority of the attention of the OIC. It is critical to have to develop the introduction of modern irrigation and moisture-saving technologies. The situation directly points to the need to consolidate the joint efforts to the OAC members countries to conduct a coordinated policy. And most importantly, to take sustainable and long-term measures on food security and the first against the hunger in the regions. We believe that the Islamic Organization for Food Security, which was established by the initiative of our first President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Sultan Nazarbayev, can be used as the efficient instrument to support those whom rising food prices impacted the most, the people with the low and middle income. Since they spend their largest income for the food, we need to pay more attention to the humanitarian side of the organization activities. We need clear to promote and prompt measures to respond to the humanitarian problems in our countries, to keep sufficient reserve and the funds. The successful operation of the organization depends on the effective implementation of its goal and objectives. Dear participants of the conference, during this session, Kazakhstan is passing their chair to the Republic of Turkey. I would like once again congratulate and thank Republic of Turkey and wish all the best in their chairmanship. I wish the participants of today's session fruitful and effective work. Thank you very much. So, I would like to announce the composition of the Bureau. So the Chair, the Republic of Turkey. The Vice President is the Republic of the Gambia, State Qatar, and State of Palestine. Yeah. So I would like to hand over the chairmanship to the Minister of Turkey. So I would like to invite him to pass the chair.
Thank you very much for your chairmanship. Dear press members, thank you.
Dosyamız hangisi?
Sizin şuradan okuyabiliriz. Ha bu sizin dosyanız, tamam.
Üstünde oynanmış bu dosya.
Tamam. Temiz geldi. Tamam.
Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah ve Berekatuhu. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable ministers, esteemed guests, dear brothers and sisters, I greet you with warmest and sincere regards. It's a great honor for Turkey to host the 8th OIC Ministerial Conference on Food Security and Agricultural Development with the theme of improvement of food systems for ensuring food security and agricultural development in OIC member states. I would like to express my pleasure together, face to face after a long time. I wish you a pleasant time during your stay in Istanbul, which connects Asia and Europe. I strongly believe that this conference has enabled us to discuss long-term visions and put forward sustainable outcomes and solutions for our common future. I hope that this event will lead beneficial outcomes for our countries. During this period, we better understand the importance of global solidarity. Distinguished participants, Organization of Islamic Cooperation has been united for peace and development with a view to becoming the collective voice of the Muslim world. Muslims, constituting about a quarter of the world's population today, unfortunately do not have the political influence, economic, social and cultural level of development in parallel with their potential. Although the foundations of today's level of development of humanity were laid in the Islamic geography, we should think carefully about the causes of the problems that Muslims are experiencing today. Otherwise, we cannot get anywhere by just complaining, just talking. Especially if you wait for the solution from others, we have nothing to gain. It is the responsibility of Muslims to bring the Islamic civilization to the place it deserves. So we should concentrate on where we lack and put forward concrete works that will find solutions to the problems of 1,700,000,000 Muslims and all humanity. The relationship between Turkey and OIC has always been strong and maintained its importance up to the present since its establishment. We are proud to take active role in the OIC, which aims to contribute to the economic and scientific development of Muslim countries. Distinguished participants, as you know, for more than 10 years, our sector has been affected negatively by many factors such as fluctuations in food prices, climate change, natural disasters, and finally, COVID-19. The world is not on track to meet the commitments to end world hunger and malnutrition by 2030. If we do not take concrete and bold actions, the hunger will not be eradicated. Looking at the latest data, about 10% of the world is facing hunger. Nearly 1 in 3 people in the world cannot access to adequate food. More than half of the world's undernourished lives in Asia and more than 1/3 in Africa. The data shows that we have more problems to solve. Honorable ministers, ensuring food security requires good planning both at national and global level. Achieving adequate food production is not enough on its own to ensure food security. Having money does not always mean you can get food. It is also of great importance that the food be easily accessible as well as its adequate production. Food security is the most important factor in ensuring general security and welfare in our countries. If there is a food security problem, it should be an issue for all countries, and we have to act together as OIC countries to create permanent solutions. Esteemed ministers and participants, recent developments pointed out that our responsibilities on food security and agriculture are much more important than ever. We all have to deal with the effects of the climate change, and global food crisis could be knocking the door in a very near future because of droughts, floods, and wildfires. Besides, we are struggling with the pandemic, which worsen our existing problems. Considering these challenges, we have to accelerate our common efforts to transform current food system into a sustainable one. Therefore, we need to look at how we produce, distribute, trade, and consume with a holistic approach. You all know very well that the OIC region has high agricultural potential in terms of its capacity and labor force. The OIC member states, located in 4 continents, we differ not only in terms of landmass and natural resources, but also in terms of level of economic and agricultural development. For many OIC member states, agriculture is one of the leading sectors and critically important for generating income, increasing welfare, and eradicating hunger. In the region, the number of people employed in the agricultural sector is more than 200 million, which accounts for almost 1/4 of the world's agricultural employment. Nevertheless, the share of agricultural average in the total GDP of the OIC region is less than 10%. There are millions of brothers and sisters in the region facing malnutrition, hunger, and famine. In fact, today about 350 million Muslims living in the OIC member states are struggling to survive under extreme poverty conditions. Given this unfavorable situation, we should cooperate to enhance structural transformation, agricultural market stability, and efficient use of natural resources. So, we must strengthen our mutual trust and ties, which are vital elements of a secure, prosperous, and united international community. Distinguished participants, of course, there may be different reasons behind this heart-rending reality. If we do not increase social welfare as we grow our economies, it will not be possible for us to establish justice. Therefore, as well as other issues, we should pay particular importance to food security that touches every aspect of our lives. I hope that the concrete decisions of our meeting will be fruitful for all humanity and Muslim world. I would like to repeat my pleasure to host you in Turkey. May Allah grant us peace and prosperity. May Allah grant us a successful conference on food security and agricultural development. Fil hitam hazihil ictima inşallah tekunu mübareken aleyna ve aleyküm. Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Ahmet Kavesa Sengendo for his opening speech.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. Your Excellency, Mr. Bekin Bakdemir, Minister of Agriculture and Forestry of the Republic of Turkey and Chairman of our current session, Your Excellency Zelinis Hoshibel, the outgoing Chairman, Vice Minister from Kazakhstan, Your Excellencies, Ministers and heads of delegations, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and participants, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of the General Secretariat of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and my own behalf, I have great pleasure and distinct honor to address the 8th session of the OIC Ministerial Conference on Food Security and Agricultural Development, being held in this beautiful and historical city of Istanbul. Allow me first and foremost to express my profound gratitude to His Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, President of the Republic of Turkey and Chairman of COMSEC, for his gracious patronage of this session and for his constant support for the various activities and programs of the OIC in diverse sectors, including agriculture, rural development, and food security. I also seize this occasion to extend my sincere appreciation to the government of Turkey, particularly the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, for the excellent arrangements made for this August meeting. By the same token, I hereby acknowledge and appreciate the commitment of the Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Kazakhstan throughout his tenure as the chairman of the 7th session of the Ministerial Conference. In the same vein, I welcome the Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, in charge of agriculture and food security from our member states, who, despite their busy schedule and the travel difficulties caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, found time to join us in this session. This reflects their keen interest and commitment towards strengthening intra-OIC cooperation in this important sector, as well as working towards making the lives of the citizens of our member states better and prosperous. Accordingly, this session gives us an opportunity to have face-to-face interaction and deliberate on various challenges facing the agricultural sector, addressing national and regional needs in the face of the current unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, compounded by climate change, natural hazards, and conflicts, among other challenges. It will also enable us to review our priorities towards achieving sustainable agricultural development and enhanced food security in our countries. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, I take this opportunity to invite your attention to the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic has taken a tragic toll, triggering a social and economic shock, ravaged millions of lives, and destroyed livelihoods for millions of people in our member states and beyond. It has also led to severe and widespread increases in global food insecurity, affecting vulnerable households in almost every country, with impacts expected to continue through 2021 and into 2022. According to the 2021 edition of the UN report on the state of food security and nutrition in the world, the number of undernourished people in the world increased from 650 million in 2019 to 811 million in 2020. The majority of these people belong to OIC member states. In addition, according to World Food Programme estimates, currently more than 60 million people in 11 OIC member states are facing hunger as a result of conflicts, economic shocks associated with the socio-economic impacts of COVID-19 and weather extremes occasioned by climate change, thus reversing years of the pre-2020 development gains. OIC member states have had their own bitter share of the pandemic. Against this background, I am pleased to note that there have been several major developments within OIC since the 7th OIC Ministerial Conference on Food Security and Agricultural Development, held in Astana, now Nur-Sultan, Kazakhstan, in April 2016. Of particular significance is the full operationalization of the Islamic Organization for Food Security, IOFS, which is a specialized OIC institution engaged in the implementation of our cooperation projects and programs in the areas of agriculture, rural development, and food security. Certainly, IOFS is expected to further boost our collective efforts towards promoting agricultural development and enhancing food security in OIC member states, as well as mobilizing multilateral resources for this purpose. Other notable developments include the elaboration of the 3 cooperation frameworks of development of strategic agricultural commodities, namely the Draft OIC Program of Action for Development of Rice, Draft OIC Program of Action for the Development of Wheat, and the Draft OIC Program of Action for Development of Cassava. Accordingly, these documents, which have been submitted for your kind consideration, aim at increasing domestic production of these strategic agro-food commodities in order to progressively reduce import dependence, increasing the share of OIC countries in the global exports of these commodities, and contributing to eliminating poverty and food insecurity, among others. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, notwithstanding the foregoing activities, agricultural development and food security in OIC member states, as mentioned above, continue to face a number of persisting problems and challenges, including low productivity, increased food demand due to population growth, competing demands for resources, and the impacts of climate change, which are yet to be addressed in a holistic manner. Fortunately, there is sufficient potential in the OIC member states to grow enough food for all our citizens if we all cooperate and coordinate our efforts in this endeavor. Food security should be one of our top goals in all our strategies towards achieving sustainable development and improving the well-being of our peoples. It is in this context that I wish to invite the attention of this august gathering to the following issues, which arose in the course of implementing various OIC programs and projects in the area of agricultural development and food security. First, rural farmers make up the majority of crop producers in our countries. Much as agricultural knowledge increases manifolds every year, most farmers continue to rely on outdated knowledge and farming practices and still lack access to the minimum financial facilities they need to engage in optimum agricultural production. There is therefore an urgent need to empower the rural farmers and communities with appropriate current knowledge and skills, as well as by providing access to funds to enable them increase food production, as well as ensure long-term food nutrition security, bolstering environmental care and climate action, and strengthening the socio-economic fabric of rural areas. Second, the contribution of farmers to rural development and enhancing food security is highly dependent on the availability of agricultural knowledge and technologies. Availability of appropriate agricultural knowledge and technologies to farmers enables them to increase food productivity, reduce the cost of production, deal better with vulnerabilities due to unexpected weather changes, reduce post-harvest wastage of food, estimated at 1.3 billion metric tons per year, and increase earnings due to value addition capabilities. The good news is that actually most of the required knowledge and technologies that could help the rural farmers significantly increase their production and guarantee themselves a better quality of life are available in some of our OIC member states. The challenge is to identify what knowledge and technologies work best in our different countries and how to make them available to the farmers that need them. It is high time for us to address the inadequate levels of knowledge and skills, access to technologies, and financial resources for our farmers who must be included in the financial equation. Third, the existing disparities across OIC countries in terms of international trade of agricultural products could be considered as a window of opportunity to enhance intra-OIC agricultural trade. Accordingly, achieving a match between OIC countries with excess supply, i.e. net exporters, and those with excess demand, i.e. net importers, for various agricultural products would help to deepen intra-OIC cooperation and generate more resources for socio-economic development in OIC countries. The overall goal of the OIC member states must be to become net food exporters in the shortest time possible, rather than continuing the current state of vulnerability as net food importers. By increasing cooperation amongst ourselves, together we can achieve this goal. Fourth, it is critical for all of us to understand that solving the food security problem is critical to attainment of most of our development goals. Emerging scientific evidence indicates that 70% of the loss of biodiversity and 30% of the greenhouse emissions are through agricultural practices. The linkage between agricultural sector to employment, water security, health, education, climate change, and other development goals can never be overemphasized. What this means, therefore, is that food security is not only the basic human imperative, but also a critical factor for the overall security of nations and states. With the ever-increasing human population which has to be fed, the centrality of having effective and efficient food systems in our countries demands urgent and appropriate attention from all of us. Therefore, I believe that cooperation among our countries through sharing of knowledge, technologies, and resources can play a key role in achieving this goal. Finally, effective implementation of the resolutions and programs of the OIC in the domain of agriculture, rural development, and food security is the cornerstone of our joint efforts to further promote sustainable agriculture and food production in our member states. Accordingly, OIC member states are encouraged to assume ownership of decisions and programs of the OIC, including the OIC programs of action for development of strategic commodities, through mainstreaming them into their respective national strategies to develop agriculture and enhance food security. In conclusion, Excellencies, I would like to reaffirm the commitment of the OIC General Secretariat and other relevant OIC institutions to continue working closely with your Excellencies in your relentless efforts towards increasing food production, ensuring food security, as well as improving people's life standards in our countries. I wish this session fruitful deliberations, and I thank you for your kind attention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Excellency Mr. Sanjendo. Esteemed ministers, within the scope of our meetings, we have prepared a video. I will invite all of you to watch it first.
The world is changing. There's a new and challenging path ahead us. Climate change, a growing global population, rising food prices, and now COVID-19. Food insecurity, one of the biggest problems for humankind, threatens 10% of the world population. On one hand, more than 2 billion people do not have regular access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food, and there are children that suffer from malnutrition. On the other hand, people have unhealthy eating habits, and they suffer from obesity, disease of our age. Approximately 1.3 billion tons of food, nearly 1/3 of the food produced for human consumption, is lost or wasted every year. Irresponsible and improper usage of already limited natural resources causes problems, from environmental pollution to public health. Our freshwater resources are reduced and getting polluted rapidly. 1/3 of world soils is degraded because of agricultural practices. Biodiversity is decreasing day by day. Our natural resources, which are essential for our life, are under pressure. The balance of nature is unfortunately disturbed. All of us have to cope with these problems, and our need for food is indispensable for life. In today's world, it is not an option, but necessity to take concrete actions. There is an inevitable need to transform the existing limited food systems on global, regional, and national scale. As the ministers in charge of food security and agricultural development, we are responsible from the futures of millions of brothers and sisters. As our President, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, emphasized during UNFSS, access to adequate, nutritious, and safe food is a right for everyone, not a privilege. It is our common duty to leave a fairer, more livable, and more prosperous world to our children.
Birleşmiş Milletler Gıda ve Tarım Örgütü ile işbirliği halinde de gıdanı koru kampanyamızı sürdürerek israfın önüne geçmeye çalışıyoruz.
With this perspective, to ensure a better future, Turkey has always worked for the welfare of humanity and nature and will continue its efforts on all levels, from humanitarian aid to the refugee crisis, from partnership programs to international initiatives and campaigns. To produce new solutions to our existing problems and to define the best ways forward, the Third Agriculture Forestry Council was gathered in 2019, with more than 1,300 participants from academia, NGOs, professional associations, public and private sector. Within the scope of the Council, we set out 46 main actions and 324 sub-actions to shed light on the future of Turkey, building common mind for the improvement of sustainable food systems. To combat against food loss and waste, we initiated a national and regional campaign called Save Your Food in collaboration with FAO, and we already have successful outcomes. Additionally, to raise awareness on climate change and underline the importance of afforestation, our President declared the 11th of November as National Afforestation Day. Every year, millions of saplings are planted on the same day, simultaneously in various countries. To achieve sustainable development goals, together with our national focal points and other stakeholders, we continue to contribute to the United Nations Food Systems Summit dialogues. Within the scope of the summit studies, we are in the final stage of preparing a national pathway by taking the opinions of all stakeholders in the sector. Most recently, for transforming sustainable food systems, we prepared Sustainable Food Systems Country Report, demonstrating the current situation. To increase agricultural productivity while utilizing the resources more effectively as well as reducing the costs as much as possible, we have to foster innovative human resources and new technologies. The future of agriculture depends on its digital transformation and development of climate-friendly technologies with low carbon footprint. We all need technological infrastructure, training, transformation, and appropriate resource allocation. Considering all these in agriculture and food, we must use technology and digital solutions at the maximum level, improve the production quantity and quality, reduce food loss and waste, ensure a more collective approach and cooperation. Not only to stand against the challenges that we're facing, but also sustainably develop our countries and increase the welfare of the Islamic Ummah, our combined efforts and concrete actions are more important than ever. In these extraordinary times we are going through, international and multilateral cooperation will be the key to a prosperous and better future. We should always remember what our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said. A person is not a true believer if he or she goes to bed with full stomach while his or her neighbor is hungry. Today, we reiterate our willingness for contributing in unified global actions. OIC and its institutions provide all of us a valuable opportunity to make a difference for the Islamic Ummah. As OIC countries, we come together in our beautiful city, Istanbul, to make our food systems sustainable in cooperation and solidarity. By the grace of Allah and your valuable supports, the Islamic world will have a better tomorrow.
Distinguished participants, our President, His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan, would like to meet with our esteemed Muslim brothers and sisters at this conference today. Unfortunately, due to his hectic schedule, he could not attend our meeting, but he wanted me to convey his greetings and send his video message to you.
Kıymetli bakanlar, değerli misafirler, sizleri şahsım ve milletim adına en kalbi duygularımla selamlıyorum. Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullahi ve Berekatuhu. Nazik davetiniz için teşekkür ediyor. İslam İşbirliği Teşkilatı 8. Gıda Güvenliği ve Tarımsal Kalkınmadan sorumlu Bakanlar Konferansı'nın başarılı geçmesini diliyorum. Konferansın tüm İslam alemi ve insanlık için hayırlara vesile olmasını Rabbimden niyaz ediyorum. İslam coğrafyasının farklı köşelerinden İstanbul'umuzu teşrif eden tüm misafirlerimize hoş geldiniz diyorum. Dünya nüfusu çoğalırken buna bağlı olarak küresel gıda talebi de günden güne artıyor. Tabii afetler, su kıtlığı, orman yangınları, sel, erozyon, kuraklık gibi iklim değişikliğinin menfi sonuçları da gıda kaynaklarımızı tahrip ediyor. Tüm dünyada üretim maliyetleri yükselirken, özellikle dezavantajlı toplum kesimlerinin gıdaya erişimi zorlaşıyor. Gıda güvenliğinin garanti altına alınması, bugün insanlığın ana gündem maddelerinden biri haline gelmiştir. Koronavirüs salgını tarımdaki arz-talep dengesini bozmuş, tedarik zincirlerinde kırılmalara yol açmıştır. Bu durum küresel ölçekte gıda sorununu daha da derinleştirmiştir. Nitekim Birleşmiş Milletler raporları, dünyada açlık çeken kişi sayısının geçen yıla göre yükseldiğini ortaya koyuyor. Aynı raporlara göre dünya nüfusunun yaklaşık %10'u açlık tehdidiyle karşı karşıya bulunuyor. Benzer şekilde yetersiz beslenenlerin sayısında da artış yaşanmakta, önümüzdeki döneme dair tahminler karamsar bir tablo çizmektedir. Salgının sadece temel gıdaya erişimde değil, insan hayatını ilgilendiren diğer hususlarda da sorunları karmaşıklaştırdığını görüyoruz. Bir tarafta 810 milyon insan en temel gıda maddelerine ulaşmazken, diğer tarafta büyük sermaye sahipleri birkaç dakikalık turistik uzay seyahati için yüz milyonlarca doları harcayabilmektedir. İletişimin bu kadar yaygınlaştığı, dünyanın küresel köye dönüştüğü böyle bir çağda hiç kimsenin bana ne başkasından deme lüksü yoktur. Yeterli, besleyici ve güvenilir gıdaya erişim bir imtiyaz değil, herkes için temel bir haktır. İslam İşbirliği Teşkilatı üyeleri olarak daha adil bir dünya için sesimizi yükseltmek, insanlığa karşı mesuliyetimizin bir gereğidir. Tabii bunun için öncelikle aramızdaki dayanışma ve işbirliğini artırmamız büyük önem arz ediyor. İslam ülkeleri olarak sadece ekonomik anlamda değil, stratejik anlamda da kalkınmış bir tarım sektörüne ihtiyacımız var. Maalesef bu konuda halen arzu edilen seviyeye ulaşabilmiş değiliz. Teşkilat üyesi ülkeler, tarım ve gıda alanında birbirini tamamlayan ekonomik yapılara sahip olmalarına rağmen bu potansiyelden maalesef yeterince istifade edemiyorlar. Geniş ekilebilir alanlarının yanı sıra uygun coğrafi ve iklim şartları sayesinde birçok tarım ürününde dünya lideri olan Türkiye'nin tecrübe ve imkanlarından tüm kardeşlerimizin faydalanmasını arzu ediyoruz. İslam İşbirliği Teşkilatı 8. Gıda Güvenliği ve Tarımsal Kalkınmadan sorumlu Bakanlar Konferansı'nın ülkelerimize yeni ufuklar açacağına inanıyorum. Bu düşüncelerle sözlerime son verirken konferansın başarılı geçmesini diliyor, toplantıya katkı sunan tüm kardeşlerime teşekkür ediyorum. Sizleri bir kez daha hürmetle selamlıyor, Allah'a emanet ediyorum. Kalın sağlıcakla.
Esteemed participants, before concluding the opening session, I would like to invite esteemed head of delegations and representatives of organizations to the stage at the other side of the hall for the family photo.
Desteklemeden arıcılık kayıt sistemine kayıtlı, il ve ilçe düzeyinde örgütlenmiş arı yetiştiricileri veya bal üretici birliklerinden herhangi birine üye, arıcılık işletmesinde en az 30 arılı kovanı bulunan arıcılar yararlanabilir. Destekler en az 30, en fazla 1000 adet arılı kovan için verilir. Desteklemelerden yararlanmak isteyen arıcılar, üyesi oldukları birliklere